Why are we here, Sue? So yeah, I wanted to talk with you about the subject of authenticity and vulnerability, which has been on my radar lately. And yeah, to be authentic is to be who I really am, and for people to see who I really am. But in people seeing who I really am is scary, so it brings up my vulnerability. But ironically, they kind of need to be hand in hand, really. I can't be authentic without my vulnerabilities. But the first wins that many of us, or we often come across, is when we first have conflict with someone. That's when it comes up, this whole subject. So, someone acts in a certain way or doesn't act in a certain way, and it makes us feel angry or frustrated, or I don't feel valuable to them, or I don't feel worthy of them, or I don't feel listened to, I don't feel respected, or blah 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 blah. These kind of narratives that quite often repeatedly come up. And
Yeah.
so what I tend to do in that situation is, rather than go they didn't value me, is to turn the sentence and remove they from the sentence and put me in it. So I can either ask a question and say, am I valuing myself? Or I could say, I don't value myself, and then explore it. And then the authenticity part, this is where I could go down many roads, and I've tried many roads, and they're all fantastic. But the most recent one that I've done is to just simply be with it, be authentic with myself. Because if I can't be authentic with myself, then how do I expect to be that with anyone else? Or yeah, what do you feel about that?
Well, something you said a little way back, actually, that got me wondering was the first you were mentioning triggers and conflict. This comes up through people in the world and some kind of situation or conflict, and how you in the past you found you were vulnerable, and that you found that difficult to cope with that situation was almost like a kind of reaction that you had. It was like a fear that you would expose yourself in some way, that you laid yourself bare, and that was a kind of fear that you didn't like that. It wasn't working for you, that. So the next step that you took was then to, rather than reacting with that fear, you actually responded, I think, in a very beautiful way. You would take yourself out into nature and stand back a little bit and give the whole situation a bit of space in which you could observe, rather than reacting with that fear. You could observe how this whole thing was panning out for you, how you felt.
Yeah.
And then the next step was when then you felt, as you said, I'm not going to blame that person or that situation. I'm going to look at how I feel in myself about this. And then you said, I think, you were talking about not feeling worthy. And that worried me, because a lot of what we need to do in this world, being humans, is actually to really feel a sense of worth for ourselves, to love ourselves, to be kind to ourselves, and appreciate ourselves, and feel that we are worthy, 100% worthy. So those are the things that came up for me. And we were talking about this earlier, that everything that you just told me is just what it means to be human beings. we all go through this conflicts with people, with questioning ourselves, with feeling anxious, feeling frightened, feeling scared. That's all part of being human. And if we didn't go through all these things, we wouldn't be questioning them now, would we? We wouldn't be seeking and questioning and observing now. So, but, this is the big but, I think what we do, and I'll see what you think of this, is we build up a story about ourselves. We tell us this big story of who we are and where we want to go and what we want to do, what we think the other person thinks of us and what we project onto the world. And the more we build up that story, that character, that persona, the more we believe in it.
Yeah.
And the more difficult it is to be vulnerable, this comes to your vulnerability, to let that story go.
Yeah, you're right. The more we tell ourselves the story, the more we believe it. And I mean, that's interesting because it kind of, a question similar to that came up is, if I've been looking at this for quite a few years, which I have, then why is it still coming up? And then I realised I needed to be kind to myself and say, well, that's all right, because the fact that I'm asking that question means that I'm more aware than I was 5 years ago when this question came up. And I think that's it. I mean, let's face it, I've spent all these decades believing this story, so it's going to take quite a long time to believe another story. But
or to let the story go.
Or to let the story
go. You don't want
go.
Another story.
Yeah, we don't want another story on top.
On top of another one.
God, there's the irony, so we need to stop thinking about it, or talking about it. Right, let's go. No, but it's about knowing now that I've got the choice to believe in that story or open myself to another possibility and not know what the other possibility is. And if I start labelling it as another possibility or even creating another story,
then it's another story.
Then it's another story.
Yeah.
But just going, I'm open to the opportunity to transform this into something else. And to say that, not, oh, I need to have a conclusion, I need to be sorted, I need to be fixed. Just to say, I let go of this story. You said this to me before. Are we able to just let go? Forcibly letting go is difficult, but just asking a question allows you to let go. Am I able to see other possibilities and to create that space by going into nature? Because that's the other thing we talked about, that why is it for me that nature helps rather than talking to someone sometimes? And that is because people, even if they're the loveliest person and they're the most listening, sometimes that's just lovely to just for someone to listen. But do you know what? Nature doesn't have, there's no reaction that I have to nature like I would to another human being. After all, it's the human beings that the conflict was catalysed by in the first place. And so by going into nature that we are all part of and we're all connected with, that's where I can feel fully integrated with everything without being catalysed by anything. And if I just listen like I did that day and just lay with my back against the tree and just listen without a story or a narrative, and I saw a tree leaning over and touching and bonding layers, I went, sometimes we need some people to lean on. And just in saying that, ironically relinquished my need to lean on anyone else except for myself, and I felt fully integrated.
Yeah.
It's not the solve-all, it's just it worked in that moment, and it was that possibility I gave myself.
Yeah. See, really we can learn from nature in that, because we were talking earlier about trees are just trees. They just are. They're not planning to be trees, or they're not deciding I'll drop my leaves now or I'll do this. They just are. And I think that's it really. We just simply need to, in fact I've stopped saying let go of the story. I used to say that a lot, oh just let go, but actually that is also a kind of, that's almost a thinking thing. Well, how do I do it? I need to let go. How do I do that?
Force
and there's something that I impose on.
Yeah.
I am imposing the letting go.
Yeah.
I'm going to start letting go now. But actually, it's not that. It has to happen. It has to the truth. I don't think we can find the truth. I think it has to reveal itself. Like that tree, those two trees revealed themselves to you.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happens to you when you go into nature.
Right.
You're giving yourself space for nature to reveal itself, for truth to reveal itself, without you saying, well, how do I do it? Should I do this? Should I do that? And then the moment you drop the grasping and the trying to get there, and kind of, it is about giving space, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, your out-breath just said it.
Just the out-breath, yes. There is, the vulnerability doesn't exist. The fear and the vulnerability and all the stuff that you think, oh my God, this is going to happen.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's still part of the story, the vulnerability. Yeah. So if you are completely, if you see that truth, and don't ask me how you see it, but I think rather than you seeing it, it reveals itself.
Yeah.
Everything is fine. Everything is perfect. Everything is just as it is, like the truth, just as it is. And we were talking about actually what it is unconditional love. That's what it is. And that's what you are, underneath all the story and the fear and the vulnerability and the angst. Underneath all that, like the awareness that's underneath that, is pure love.
Yeah. But that's I totally agree. And like, you can't just go, oh, it's all right because I'm just pure love. Cause
no, it's a bit hippie 60s.
That's a bit hippie 60s and a bit irritating.
Yeah.
But but exactly what you said, like by saying you are wanting to let go, then you're trying to force something. So what I've realised is that, well, I need all this conflict in order to create that space for me to question. But I can either create space to question, or I can just go round in that hamster wheel of story. I've got that choice, and I've made the choice. And one of the options is to just look at it. But sometimes, and space seems to be the thing that keeps coming up. Looking at it is important. Can I just look at it? When it feels like it's too much to just look at it, just going to nature, so I'm not under the microscope. I'm not even putting myself under the microscope. I'm looking out there that I know that I'm part of. So it's not like, oh, let's shove my stuff under the carpet. Let's give this space for a minute. And what I realised in going into nature is that my vulnerabilities are obviously from some childhood experience or experiences that have led me to think, oh, I'm not valuable enough. So as I'm walking through nature, lots of squirrels are running around playing, and I went, that's the part of my childhood that's useful right now, the playfulness. So let's play with this. So I sort of jumped over a fence, leant against a tree, and gave myself and my stuff space, gave it a holiday.
Yeah.
And then went, well, what am I going to see here? And just be playful.
Be playful. I think, that's one of the simple answers, if there are answers, is not to take the whole thing too seriously, not to bring all the guns out blazing, you know, and be playful with life.
Yeah.
And if you start to take it too seriously, then you get bogged down. Be playful and
So what's the conclusion then? What he said: be playful,
be playful.
give ourselves spaces,
Space.
integrate by going into nature.
Or you could do that in meditation, couldn't you? That is another way that you could
Meditate in nature.
meditate
Bing,
in nature.
Bing.
That's another good way. And then yes, and then there's some kind of not an intellectual realization, but a realization that we are not separate, that we are connected with all this, that we are the tree is us. We are completely connected. And that actually I find that very comforting. You know, that I'm not this separate, lonely being. You know, I'm part of a much bigger thing. And you know,
Yeah, you don't, and like for example, trees are connected with their roots and they support each other. They don't go, hey, do you know I'm supporting you? Like we need our mates to go, look, just, you know, I'm here.
I'm here. And people say I'm here for you.
I'm here for you.
Yeah,
I
and you
could
think,
which is
actually,
nice. That is human. That
Yeah.
let's face it, that is our
Yes.
human side. But if we just
Yes.
go out and look at a tree, well, for me, lean against it and just go, I know that. And each one of us is put on this earth. We're socially interactive, connected, supportive beings, humans.
Yeah.
That's our
Yeah.
sort of nature. We're sort of
Yeah.
pack animals. So it's recognising that, but
Yes.
letting it all go at the same
Yes.
time, because we're still our own sovereign. You look at a
Well-
tree, it doesn't go, hey, I'm standing here, man, I look beautiful, I'm valuable. The tree doesn't even say,
No.
I'm valuable.
No, exactly.
So you don't even need to say, he doesn't value me, she doesn't value me, I don't value me. Just me.
You don't need
Just
that. You don't
be.
need that.
Just be pure love.
Yeah, exactly. Be
Be
pure
pure
love.
love, man.
And not value, not label yourself or label anything. And also we are spirit. I like that we are spiritual beings on a human journey.
Yeah.
And that's whatever that spiritual means for you, that's tapping into that deep awareness that we're all connected to that universal consciousness, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Where are you going?
Climbing the tree.
I want you're loving the tree.
Yes.